Hello, welcome to Window on Wilmington. I'm Cassandra McKay, sitting in for Shannon Harris. Today on our show, we will meet the people from Kim's Place, a new adult addiction recovery center. The Wilmington Renaissance Corporation will be here to talk about the Wilmington Creative District, a couple of new murals, and more. And we will get a preview of the new season from the Delaware Theatre Company, and we'll also talk about the People's Festival tribute to Bob Marley. But first, the Delaware Center for Horticulture has been making our city greener, healthier, and prettier for many years now. We are right on the verge of the annual City Gardens Contest, and they have a lot more going on year-round. Here to talk about it is the Executive Director, Vikram Krishnamurthy. Hi, Vikram. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
So, how does the Delaware Center for Horticulture help lead urban agriculture and greening programs here in the city of Wilmington?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Cassandra. I'm really excited to be here, and we do have a lot going on. You mentioned our work historically. We're looking forward to celebrating our 40th year of doing this work next year in 2017, so we're doing a lot of planning to celebrate that. In terms of urban agriculture, just to talk a little bit about what we've done historically and the way things are changing, and some really positive things that are happening statewide. We started out with a community gardening program and supported community gardeners that were interested in taking underutilized, vacant land in Wilmington and putting it to productive use for the purposes of growing not just food, not just vegetables, but also some of our community gardens are ornamental as well, so growing flowers, and especially the ways that these community gardens can beautify a corner lot, and they really add a lot to our neighborhoods in and around Wilmington. In recent years, things have really changed, and we have really scaled up. We still do support individual community gardening efforts, but in around 2008, 2009, in working very closely with the 11th Street Bridge Civic Association and a gentleman named Eric Robinson, former city council member and president of that civic association, we started our urban farm at 12th and Brandywine Streets in Wilmington. And this is a little bit different in terms of scale and the purpose of the garden. So in terms of, whereas small corner lot community gardens are primarily used by individuals in those neighborhoods to produce food for themselves, our goal with the urban farm was to really produce food at a larger scale for distribution, for sale, things like that, to support the ongoing efforts of the farm itself. This spring we're really excited because we recently had a dedication event. Sadly, Mr. Robinson passed away last year, and so earlier this spring we worked with Rosa Robinson and the community to dedicate the name of the urban farm in his honor. So it is the Eric D. Robinson Urban Farm at 12th and Brandywine. So,
awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, tell us about the microgrant program. You guys are involved in that as well.
We are involved. This is not our program specifically, but we are very supportive of it. We're really excited in terms of how things have really changed in recent years. Gardening and urban food production has really become a lot more popular. We still do support individual efforts, as I mentioned, but the Delaware Department of Agriculture is really supporting urban agriculture efforts around the state. And one of the initial ways that they've done that through Secretary Ed Key and Holly Porter with the Department of Agriculture created this first ever microgrant program for community gardening efforts. So the state just awarded 11 different grants for community gardening and urban food production efforts to 11 different organizations, and we are working with Newcastle County at the Absalom Jones Senior Center on one of those projects. But our role is really to support these efforts statewide, to see this, what is really a movement grow, and to, I think, maximize our role as a center for technical resources, ways to get gardens started, the support that gardeners really need to sustain these efforts.
Okay, now you mentioned ways to get gardens started. So how do you go about getting a garden started?
Well, there are a lot of ingredients. I would say the most important one is, no one person can do it on their own. So I think one of the most important things, not only for starting a garden, but for sustaining a garden effort, is to get a group of people together, your neighbors, friends, to really create a team and really have it be a community effort. So we have found over the years, and community gardening has been a part of our organization since our founding, we have found that is probably the most important ingredient in terms of sustaining gardening efforts. There are a lot of technical aspects though too, and very practical ones. You need a place to do it, so you need access to land. You need to make sure that you have a water source, and we can help with that in terms of water access for keeping gardens growing. You need the technical know-how, which we can also provide on building raised beds, building and arranging for the spaces to actually grow. And soil safety is a primary consideration for anyone that is interested in gardening in Wilmington. We really work with a variety of partners, something called the Delaware Urban Farm and Food Coalition, DENREC, a number of different partners in Newcastle Conservation District, to really make sure that people are gardening safely and that the soil that people are intending to garden in is safe for, especially when it comes to food production. So, but we really help with then things like seeds and starter plants and the kind of the basic materials and access to tools, things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we're here to help in that way.
Okay, now you mentioned safety a lot. Are there training classes, like how someone that really has no idea but they think it's a great idea, they want to be a part of it, are there any classes or programs that will help them get the knowledge that they need to make sure they're doing things the right way and safely?
Yeah, we are planning some upcoming workshops, and one of our goals is to get people thinking about gardening earlier in the season. Our phone starts ringing off the hook in, say, March and April when spring hits, and we encourage people to really start planning in the fall. So we are looking at some potential dates for a workshop this fall on starting a community garden. The safety issue in terms of soil really has everything to do with the site. So we can assist and call in other partners to assist with assessing a certain site that a group might be interested in for gardening, just to make sure that if there's soil testing that needs to happen or some other kind of assessment as it relates to brownfields or whatever it might be around the city, that we can go about that. So there is a lot of there's a significant amount of planning that goes into it in order for it to be successful. So we encourage community groups to start early on the planning aspects.
Absolutely. Now you talked about the E.D. Robinson Urban Farm at 12th and Brandywine. There's also a farmer's market there. So tell us about that.
Yes. So we have an urban farmer named Adrienne Spencer, and Adrienne grew up on the east side of Wilmington, and she is someone that is very passionate about the urban farm, passionate about growing food, really passionate about helping communities make the connection in terms of how important eating healthy is, not only in terms of people's own personal individual health, but also on a community health level, and simply in connecting with nature. So part of that is, we make an effort to offer affordable fresh produce in this community, and anyone, it's not just the 11th Street Bridge Association, but anyone can shop at our farmers market. So the market is open when Adrienne is there. So she will welcome you anytime you see that the gate is open. It means that Adrienne's there, and she's got things for sale. So one of the most popular things has been blackberries over the years. So those are she's harvesting those right now. So that's one of our more popular items. So come and get your blackberries this summer.
Absolutely. And just like you said, as far as eating healthy and being able to give that kind of access to fresh fruit and vegetable is really important, and at an affordable price. I mean, who can beat that, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's the thing, you're choosing between eating healthy and going to McDonald's. McDonald's is a lot cheaper. So just the word affordable around the vegetables and fruits is definitely exciting to hear.
Yep, definitely.
Besides community gardens and urban agriculture, what else does DCH provide for the city residents?
Well, we have a number of different programs related to tree care. So we have a neighborhood tree steward program. We work in close partnership with the city and with the support of the city to plant street trees around Wilmington every year. We maintain trees in a lot of different areas. We're really focused on tree planting now because the city has really stepped up its own management of the city's trees. And so our role is really changing to be more focused on planting. So we have done some research on the city's tree canopy, and so we're focused right now on planting efforts so that we can increase that canopy, especially in the areas of the city that need trees the most. And we work directly with neighborhood residents through a network of neighborhood tree stewards. So anyone, if you're interested in trees in your neighborhood, contact us, because we have a solid support network of other like-minded individuals, other community activists that are really engaged in city tree issues. And we do annual Arbor Day programs through our community forestry programming, and we can often put together volunteer activities as well. Volunteerism is a really important and strong part of our organization. So we, through the support of not only city and county and state government, but also through corporate support, we are able to organize a number of volunteer events, things like neighborhood cleanups, park projects, and also tree planting and other things like that. So that's one example. You mentioned the City Gardens contest, so that is something that we've done for over 30 years, and it's a friendly competition for the most part. We do have some serious competitors, but it's always a great way to highlight all the efforts that are happening around the city. A lot of areas and a lot of efforts that are not that well known. So we utilize the contest as a way to highlight those efforts.
Okay, and the contest is this weekend?
The contest is this weekend. Okay. The entry deadline was July 1st, okay. But keep your eye out because we'll have teams of judges as volunteers going around and visiting all the entry gardens, and it's a fun way to get out and see some things around the city that you might not otherwise see.
Absolutely.
So.
What are some of the things they're looking at when they look at these gardens?
Oh, there are a number of categories, things like flower garden, vegetable garden, we have a tree category, okay. And new gardens, there's a community garden category, so okay. Anything and everything. So,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Kim's Place is coming up right after this.
Feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy, R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Kim's Place is a new home for women who want to turn their lives around after falling into addiction. Joining me now is Executive Director Karen Harris and Co-Director MaryBeth Cichocki. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you're Karen, you're MaryBeth.
Yes. Yep.
It's called Kim's Place. How did that come to be?
Kim was my sister. I wanted to do something in her honor. She suffered from mental illness and also drug abuse before she died.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did the idea to start this, how did that come about?
You know, it actually was a dream that started probably about 10 years ago. I'm a recovering person myself and always wanted to give back. I always wanted to help out in a way that would be beneficial for women, being a woman in recovery. And transitional housing is a very huge part of my story. There was a place much like Kim's Place that was available when I needed help. And without it, I'm sure I wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the transitional housing program. What do you guys offer? I did go on the website and I saw some information about it. The rooms were spectacular.
Yeah.
It looks like a hotel.
Yeah, we did a really good job of making it. We wanted it to be a home, and that's what our intent was. And I think we did a pretty.
We
good
did a good job.
job.
Yeah, we did a great job.
I would live there.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really pretty good.
Absolutely, it's a structured program for women only, like I mentioned. We try to have a holistic approach. When our women come to us, they suffer from a number of different things. There's trauma often involved as a result of drug use, the life that it leads to, homelessness, a number of different things that are present when one is addicted. Some of our women, of course, have issues with mental illness. Those issues have to be addressed. We're fortunate enough to have actually sister organizations in the community that have offered their help. Where therapy is concerned, where counseling is concerned. The women are required to attend 12-step meetings. They are required to have a 12-step sponsor. They are required to maintain their home, much as you and I would, living in a home. And they are also eventually required to secure employment and learn how to manage money and be responsible and things of that nature.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot that's required. They don't come there and just kind of sit around. We keep them stepping. It's a pretty busy day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how many women can you accommodate?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do people come to the program? Are they coming through referral, or are they coming on their own?
All different ways.
Yeah, we get calls randomly. We had a feature article in the News Journal, and our numbers got out there. And we actually got a call from one young woman who is with us. And she was in a motel that was deplorable. She'd been given a voucher, and she called us from there and was frantic to get out of there.
Okay.
So we picked her up and found out she hadn't eaten in God knows how long. Took her to lunch and then took her to Kim's place. And today, actually, is a good day for her. She starts a job.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you mentioned structure. I'm sure there's also a commitment that you expect from those that come into the program.
There's absolutely a commitment. They sign paperwork when they come in. They know what is expected of them. They are also given random drug screens. They know that that's something that must be a part of the program. They are expected, if they are part of the mental health system, to get their prescription refills, to go to therapist sessions and things of that nature. And they're held accountable. They're held accountable. Absolutely.
Yeah, we have meetings, house meetings, every Monday and every Thursday, and we address problems that have come up. You know, right now we have 6 women, and you know, women living in a house together, there's always going to be something.
Yes.
So we are trying to teach them, first of all, living skills, because a lot of them, being homeless, they didn't worry about clean laundry or changing sheets on a bed or keeping their area clean. So we address that. We address coping skills. We address how to communicate with each other. We try to bond them that, you know, you all have a common bond.
Yes.
You've all come from a very bad place and now you're in this very good place. So let's not tear each other down, let's build each other up. We're all working towards the same goals.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know, that's really, we try to make it a homey, and when Karen and I come in, we know we cannot be their friends, but we are attached to some of them.
Oh yeah.
And we want very much for them to succeed.
Absolutely.
But we also know there is structure, and it has to be. Everybody needs structure, whether you're you know, addicted to anything or you're just a normal person.
Absolutely.
We need structure.
Well, you know, they call it a road to recovery because it is a journey.
It's a journey and it's a process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the cost of the program?
There are fees associated once a woman becomes employed. It's $125 a week. But I need to mention, though, that when the women come in, it's not a requirement.
No.
They actually come in with nothing. And in most cases, we expect that they will have nothing. We don't feel like we're doing them a favor by putting them up in a place, not having expectations, and then at the end of a year expecting them to live responsibly.
Absolutely.
But this is not something that happens immediately. It's not something that happens, right off the bat. So.
No, Karen and I have dug into our purses and have supplemented the house many occasions. Funding is a big deal for us. We actually have none at present time.
Okay.
We really depend on donations from the community. We are trying to get grant money, but you know, being a new organization, we're up against, you know, the well-known organizations in Delaware, and so it's been a struggle, but you know, I think we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Yeah. We've recently become a 501c3 charitable organization, so we are incorporated in the state of Delaware, which makes any donations tax deductible.
Right. So that was a big deal for us.
So we definitely need people to get out there and make donations.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And we also have a PayPal that you can go on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, so if anyone wants to join and actually see what the girls are up to, or you know, we post educational things about addiction, about recovery, hope, positive, you know, statements, trying to keep everything in a very positive, you know, manner.
Right. Now, we're hearing about addiction more and more, you know, in the city and in the state of Delaware. What is the scope of that here in Delaware? I know you wrote recently a letter regarding that.
Yeah, that's a very sore spot with me. I lost my son, Matt, my youngest son, on January the 3rd of 2015. He unfortunately became addicted to the opioids that he was given after back surgery. He fell into a practice that did not believe in holistic medicine. All they really did was push pills. And me being a registered nurse, I found that very difficult, that there's no physical therapy, there's nothing else. Come to find out, the state of Delaware, we rank 9th in the nation with overdose deaths. 1% of our prescribing doctors prescribe 25% of the opioids that float around our city. My education through the 7 years of Matt's journey, I've really found that addiction is one of the most misunderstood diseases that we have ever had to encounter. Treatment is cut blatantly short. I mean, Karen and I joke all the time that really there is no treatment. These girls, some of them have come out of Bowling Green, a reputable rehab in Pennsylvania, with 8 days. That's her completion. We didn't believe her. We were like, whoa, wait a minute, something had to happen. You had to get kicked out. Till she presented her certificate of completion. It's, you know, I used to wish Matt had cancer, because if he had cancer, I wouldn't have had to fight the insurance companies, wouldn't have had to fight the medical community. There would have been sympathy instead of stigma. Our addicts are wonderful people, and you know, the stigma is of the dirty addict, of the homeless person. You know, you could get on a plane and your pilot could have just used. Your children's teachers, it's, you know, how many days do we, and Prince, I mean, look at Prince. You know, everybody. The most beautiful person, the most talented man, and he had an addiction problem. You know, I hope that with all these people that are famous coming to light, that the stigma will start to turn, and they will realize that addiction can happen to anyone. We are all one injury away, or a terrible trauma away from wanting to get away from that pain. And, you know, however, it's a brain disease. And you know, it's really a tough one. It's a tough one to get everybody to come to terms with and to work for the greater good.
Absolutely. We only have 1 minute left, but I want you guys to take this opportunity to just tell us, what can we do to help support what you're doing?
Well, you know, cooperation from the community is really important. We chose a beautiful residential neighborhood for these women to live in. And we want people to understand that this house is monitored, okay? That there are front and back facing cameras. We know who's coming, we know who's going. You know, I've been there 7 days a week, ever since Kim's Place opened. These ladies are given direction. We haven't just put people together in this house and expected them to function on their own. And then, of course, we need the support. We need the financial support from the neighborhood so that we can continue to do what it is that we do. These are someone's mother, someone's sister,
someone's child,
somebody's child.
And you know, we won't turn anyone away because of lack of funds. That's not what we can do. And another thing I think is unique about us is we are the only medication-assisted treatment facility that will take people that are on Suboxone or methadone.
Well, we you know, hope that people watching this will definitely go on the website, check you guys out, you know, send some donations over to you guys, and we wish you much success. Thank you guys both for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you. Coming up on Wilmington's Creative District, as Window on Wilmington continues.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Simply imagine what you see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book we raised one day, and still change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
The Wilmington Renaissance Corporation is spearheading the activities and programs of Wilmington's Creative District, a section of downtown focused on the creative arts. Dr. Carrie Gray, Managing Director of the Wilmington Renaissance Corporation, is here to give us an update. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the Creative District and what are the boundaries?
Sure. So the Creative District is a strategy based in creative placemaking that will expand the economic development investments that have been happening along Market Street further west toward the Quaker Hill and West Center City neighborhood so that we can bridge the gap between the Market Street core and the neighborhoods so that we can also, you know, create investment in those neighborhoods where some has been lacking, build off of the assets that are currently there, the homeowners that are currently there, and help stabilize those neighborhoods with more homeownership targeted mostly toward artists and creatives, and also, you know, add to the vitality of the neighborhood through public art, activities and events, as well as create spaces where creatives can work together, cooperative workspaces like Fab Labs and kitchen incubators and things like that.
Oh, awesome. So what stage are you guys at right now with the project?
So we are in implementation. We've been in implementation about 1.5 years. We launched the start of construction of artist housing about 9 months or so ago. I have to do the math quickly in my head. About 9 months ago. And so the first unit of housing is currently available. It's located at 413 West 5th Street. Our great partners at Interfaith Community Housing of Delaware are the developers of the housing. And our role in it is to help promote it and market it. So that's why I mention it everywhere I go and every time I see somebody.
Absolutely.
So that's the first unit of housing. It's a single family home. It's a really adorable little row house. And then there are 4 other buildings that are currently under construction and 2 others that will go under construction in the next few months. So at the end of it all, there will be a total of 12 units, 3 single-family homes, and 9 condominium units.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned some things that I don't know what they are.
Okay.
Maybe some of our viewers do. Fab Labs and incubators.
Yes. Okay, so a Fab Lab, I kind of like to describe it this way. Imagine your high school wood shop and metal shop on steroids. So it is bigger and better, and all that equipment that you might have played with when you were in middle school or high school is now accessible to you.
Wow.
And so folks join a Fab Lab and pay a monthly membership fee depending on how much they think they're going to use it. If they're a weekend hacker and they just want to go in and, you know, tool around a little bit, they spend a lot less than somebody who maybe wants 24/7 access, who wants to incubate a business and have an office. So the first Fab Lab in Wilmington will be operating hopefully by the beginning of 2017. The folks at Next Fab Studio in Philadelphia are coming down and opening a location here. They had signed a lease on a 3,500 square foot space and then decided that Wilmington really needed a bigger space. So they put that on hold and they've looked for another building, and they are currently in their due diligence period to buy the building with a partner investor. So we'll be able to announce that very soon, but until they get through that, I can't say anything about where, but it is in the Creative District, so we're really excited about that.
Now it seems with what you're offering, obviously creative types would probably kind of be drawn to the area, but what are other ways that you're trying to get creative types to come to the district?
Sure. So one of the things that we've launched in the last year is the 7th Street Arts Bridge project. And so that's a series of public art installations along 7th Street between Market Street and Madison Street. So there's currently a mural that's finished at 7th and Tatnall Streets, and we will dedicate that mural on Friday, August 5th. We're doing it on Friday, August 5th as part of our Inspire Lot series. So this is another way that we're trying to attract folks into the neighborhood. The Inspire Lot series is a live music food truck event that we do in a parking lot there on 7th Street between Orange and Tatnall Streets. And it's been in conjunction with the City of Wilmington's Art Loop on the first Friday. And you know, we had a great time when we did it in June. We skipped July because of the holiday, but it'll come back August 5th, and then again the first Friday in September, and also in October. So, you know, those kinds of activities help get folks, you know, comfortable with being in the neighborhood, and we think that's, you know, a really great way to help draw people in. The other thing that we want to do is help folks understand what investment opportunities there are, because the best way that we can help economically support and strengthen our creative community is to help them invest in real estate, because that's a great investment. And so we're going to be hosting an event probably in September right after Labor Day, where we'll bring folks into the room that can help our creative community make those investments. So partners like First State Community Loan Fund, you know, potential realtors, things like that that can help folks, you know, get through that process of looking at real estate, determining what they might want to buy or invest in, and then hopefully build some more of that independent small investor group that we have just the start of a little bit. So.
Sounds exciting.
It is. It is.
Now, what if someone wanted to move into the creative district or establish a studio there? How would they go about doing that?
So the best way to do that is to contact our office. Laura Semmelroth is our creative district strategist. Laura knows this neighborhood inside out and upside down. So if somebody tells her, you know, I want to buy a single family home and I want my studio on the first floor and I want to live upstairs, she immediately knows what's either available for sale or what is vacant and that might be available for sale if the property owner was interested in selling. So contacting Laura in our office is the best way to do that.
Okay. Any other plans that we haven't talked about that you guys are planning to implement down there?
Well, we just finished our kitchen incubator feasibility study.
Okay.
You mentioned it earlier. Kitchen incubator, similar to a fab lab, is a space where people can join like a gym membership, pay monthly based on how much they think they'll use it. But the difference in our model is going to be, it's not just a commissary kitchen where food truck operators can come in and prep their food and leave. We want to have folks in the space that are interested in growing their business. So you're maybe a food truck operator today with 1 truck and you want to have 5 trucks in the next 5 years. So we want you in the space because there'll be business wraparound services that'll be available that'll help you take that business plan to the next level. So that's the difference between the models of kitchen incubators. There's various models. There's over 200 kitchen incubators all over the country, and we've looked at all the models through this feasibility study, and we're really excited about the potential. The study was positive. It said, you know, we can have an incubator here. So we'll be looking at how we can develop that over the next year.
Okay, and how is this funded?
So Wilmington Renaissance is funded privately by the corporate community. We work really closely with city government, but we are a separate nonprofit outside of city government. And then the projects themselves, we've gone out and sought private funding for. So the Delaware Division of the Arts has supported the murals. We've gotten a recent grant from the National Endowment for the Arts to plan about 4 spaces that are currently vacant land spaces in the district that could become little pocket parks in the neighborhood. And then other, you know, private foundations and funding from various sources. So all privately funded.
Okay. What kind of support do you need from the community to just keep this idea going and moving forward?
So the biggest support, I think, is just spreading the word, right? This is a great story for Wilmington, I think. I might be biased, but I think it's a great story. You know, and that, I think, as a city, any great story for Wilmington is a great story for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
So sharing you know, the news about the Creative District, staying connected to the Creative District through our social media channels, through our website, through our newsletter that comes out every month, just staying tuned into it. Whether you're a creative or not, this should be a project that you'd want to follow and be interested in. So
Absolutely.
that's one way. And then, you know, if people have ideas, we're always open to hearing ideas. It's like kind of like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Some of them stick, some of them don't, but we're really open to people's ideas.
Absolutely. Well, it's exciting. I'm actually going to go and research more about it.
Good.
So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We'll have a look at the new season of the Delaware Theatre Company when we return.
You might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you know, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It will just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Things have been looking up for the Delaware Theatre Company. They just had their first ever $1 million season. They are also becoming known as the birthplace of shows that debut here and move on to Broadway. They have just announced a new season that promises to continue those trends. Here's the Director of Marketing, Andy Truscott. He's here to tell us all about it.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so $1 million year. I already want to know all about it.
$1 million year. You know, we hit this new vision last year, which was creating new work for Broadway, and how is it that we can make it important for Wilmington? And so what was really neat was that patrons could see something here that they would never see anywhere else. Okay. And so we had Maurice Hines' Tappin' Through Life and Diner, which was a new musical by Sheryl Crow and Barry Levinson. And so patrons got to see sold-out shows at the Delaware Theatre Company, which was a brand new thing for us. So we would have 389-seat theaters filled to the brim to see people like Maurice Hines and Broadway stars developing a new musical here in Delaware.
Awesome. So you guys, it's not like a traveling show. You actually do everything in-house.
Correct.
Tell
so
us about that.
Much like theaters like the Grand and the Playhouse pick these great Broadway musicals that are touring the country, we rehearse and build everything here in Wilmington in Delaware. So we find a lot of pride in the fact that what you see on stage are things that were built by Delaware artists, things that were rehearsed by Delaware artists. And so there's a sense of pride that what you're seeing is really the Delaware Theatre Company and not just a theater company that comes in through the road, comes in, comes out.
Okay, okay. And so this theater is kind of like an incubator for Broadway shows.
It is.
How is that?
It's so much fun when you can have artists that we would never have normally. So when we have Sheryl Crow just sitting there or Maurice Hines just sitting there saying, let's do this, let's invest in this stage. Our stage is very close in size to a Broadway house. And so it makes it very easy to create a set and then transfer it to Broadway from our location.
Awesome. All right, tell us about some of the shows you guys have coming up.
So coming up, we're in summer camp right now, so we have no shows going on this summer. But we do have, starting into September, a new adaptation of the book The War of the Roses by Warren Adler. Same movie as Michael Douglas and Catherine. I'm forgetting her last name. So we'll start our season with War of the Roses, which is set to transfer to Broadway. And we'll continue our season with a new play called City of Conversation, which is all about how politics and specifically an election can tear a family apart, which I think is going to be extremely timely this year.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go into Christmas time with the lovely family classic, A Christmas Carol. It's a 5-actor adaptation. It's perfect for kids and family alike. We haven't done it in a few years, so it's time to bring it back. And then in February, we'll do a great new drama called White Guy on the Bus, which I think is a great play right now for Wilmington and right now for the country to really talk about what brings us together, but what also could divide us. And so how do we talk about that as a community? And we'll end our season with a new musical that is also set to go to Broadway called Hetty Feather. We learned a lot from Because of Winn-Dixie, whereas if you have a kid's book that becomes a musical, everyone loves it. So we're looking at this British kid's book and how do we make it into a musical that will then travel the country.
Okay. Now you mentioned a couple of the shows and how it relates to the season that we're currently in. Do you pick shows that are seasonally appropriate or it just kind of happen to line up that way?
Normally it just happens to line up that way. We try to find a collection of shows that really makes it important for our subscribers. So there's generally a musical or two, but then some really great challenge pieces, 1 or 2 challenge pieces in there. So we don't look at each season and say, well, we need something holiday related in December, but if it happens that it falls that way, that's great.
Okay, and as far as getting tickets to your shows?
Go to DelawareTheatre.org, and it's spelled Theatre, not ER.
Okay.
Or call our box office at 302-594-1100.
Okay. What are some of the challenges to kind of bringing all of this together here in the city?
Artists are fantastic to have around, but often they're New York artists, or we're casting out of Philadelphia. So sometimes the challenge is that they just don't know everything that there is in Wilmington, but it's also such a great reward when we see that they discover all these great things in town. But often it's just getting people to learn about Wilmington, and I think we're starting to do that now from the press that we're getting from creating these shows. And the fact that we're right off the Amtrak station. And so people are starting to realize they can zoom down here from New York, get off the train, go see a show and get right back on, or go out to dinner, which I think is the fantastic way to look at it as well. But the biggest challenge, I think, is just getting everyone to realize what there is to do in the city.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned bringing some cast from New York, Philadelphia. How do you cast the shows?
We have a series of EPAs, or Equity Performance Auditions. Because we are a union house in terms of actors, we need to have a series of auditions kind of around the country. And so we audition every summer in New York, Philadelphia, and Wilmington. And anyone can come out, even if you're a non-union person, and be seen. And so those auditions, I think, for this season are over, but come next May and June, we'll be open to auditions.
Okay, well then I might have to look into that.
Come on down.
I don't know if I'm ready for it. So you also mentioned that people come in from the train, and they come see a show, and then they might go out to eat, they might do some other things in the city. How do you guys feel that your impact is being made on the economy here locally?
The Delaware Division of the Arts did a great study 4 or 5 years ago that showed that a patron generally spent about $30 to $35 in addition to their ticket price in the community. So we had 36,000 patrons come through our doors last year, which translates to roughly $1.5 million that just our patrons put into the community. But then when you add in what we spend in the community on sets, on lights, on all those things to make the shows happen, Delaware Theatre Company itself probably invests close to $4 million in Wilmington, Delaware. And so we really take pride in that. We're keeping restaurants on the riverfront booming. We're keeping lumber yards and light companies booming. And it's great to know that we're spending our money here and we're not outsourcing it somewhere.
Absolutely. Now, the fact that you guys do everything in-house obviously makes you unique in one way.
Sure.
What are some other things that make you guys unique?
We have a huge education department, and I think that's something that's unique about Delaware Theatre Companies. We're not just an entertainment venue. We really like to be seen as a community resource, and so we've got education programs that reach out into low-income schools, into senior centers, into even Grace Cottage, which is a female adjudication facility. And they take theater games or theater activities into these facilities and use them as a way to enhance people's lives so that they're not feeling like they're being forgotten about or that someone out there is actually interested in hearing their story. And I think what's really fun to hear about is the senior playwriting programs when they write a memory play about something they remember from their lives, and then we put it on stage for them. And so they get to hear their words on stage, they feel valued, they feel like someone's listening to their story. And it's just such a heartwarming night of theater.
That's amazing. Definitely. Now, how would organizations that might want to partner with you guys to take advantage of some of these programs, how would they go about doing
Sure. If you just go on our website and on our Contact Us, you'll see we have a great team of 3 people in our education department. If they want to reach out to any of those individuals, we're glad to start those conversations.
Okay. And I'm told there are subscriber deals that you guys offer.
We are.
As well?
We have 3 and 5 show subscriber deals.
Okay.
The 3 show actually just went live yesterday, so we're excited to say that that's booming. But starting at $95 and going all the way up to $240, depending on the number of tickets for the day of your performance, subscriptions are available and are the best discount to get in. You also get discount cards for local restaurants. You get additional discounts throughout the season. But single tickets go on sale August 1st, and so from August 1st up through our first show in September, we're going to be hitting hard the community and making sure everyone comes out.
Awesome. And so as far as just getting involved, the community, if someone like me would just want to be involved in what you guys do, what are some ways that I could do that?
We have volunteer usher positions available all the time, all year. We also have volunteer opportunities within these education programs. And so while some of them may require some background checks or stuff like that, just to go into some of the locations, we are always looking for volunteers that are really passionate about either the segment of the community we're working with or about theater in general. And we can always use volunteers in helping to build sets or anything like that. So if the community is interested, we welcome them with open arms.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of great information. The one about the senior stories being on stage, that just awesome.
It's always my favorite night of theater.
Yeah, for sure. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. People's Festival's up next.
A good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right into your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
One of our favorite guests here on Window on Wilmington, Genny Pitts, is here, along with 8 Pitts, to talk about this year's People's Festival to be held once again in Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park on Saturday, July 30th. Guys, the lineup looks great. Tell us who's playing.
The lineup is humongous. We have a tremendous lineup, and it actually just came to fruition just a few short, feels like days ago. Yeah. So none other than Bob's son, Kimani Marley, will be headlining the show. We're so thankful that he'll be back. This will be his 3rd appearance. Michael Rose is a Grammy Award winner, winning artist from Jamaica. Dumpster Funk, who a lot of people in our area know, coming all the way from Louisiana. We have Alika coming from Argentina, Quinto Sol from Los Angeles, and then a host of other artists that are coming from right here in our area, right here in our city, right here in our own neighborhood.
Wow. A lot of diversity coming from all different places. How do you guys select your bands?
Well, we first try to find our headliner, which usually takes up quite a bit of time. Yes. we're always looking to bring one of the Marleys back. We've had several of them over the years. It's always a great show. People really look forward to it. And then we just try to really have a strong lineup to bring that in. Dumpster Funk's going to be huge coming out of New Orleans. It's going to kind of bring a little bit of a different feel than we've had over the past few years with that funk. And then it's really important to us to incorporate the local artists. So this year we're bringing back the second stage, which we've had in previous years. But we're going to bring it back this year, hopefully keep it in the upcoming years. And it's going to be live music all day from both stages. Some of the local artists, Richard Raw, the Cooligans, The Limit, Spokey Speaky, who we always love having back. They're really great guys, and several others. It's going to be a really exciting show this year.
Okay, and it's the 22nd year. So I'm sure each year you guys do, different things to make it new and fresh. So what are some of the other things? I know you mentioned Dumpster Funk being a little bit of a different sound, so being a little bit new. So what else can we
definitely bringing the second stage back is going to be big for us. Also, our VIP area is really new to us. It's really exciting. We have a VIP area that's backstage. It's going to be catered. There's going to be really great food back there from the local businesses in Wilmington. There'll be a bar back there. There's going to be some nice little swag bags for everyone to grab. And they're going to be able to get back there and enjoy, probably meet some of the artists, several of them. The beer garden we've really enhanced also, and we've moved it up on the lawn as opposed to down in the food garden. We'll still have a beer tent down there also, but we're going to have an actual beer garden up on the lawn that we're going to have some tables and stuff set out. We're gonna build a really nice bar up there. It's gonna be fun.
So my VIP pass.
It's on the table. Okay. There's another large component that we're bringing to the festival. We're reaching out to the Latin community. I'm Mexican, 100%. My mom, my dad were full-blooded Mexican, and I've always had a passion for my culture. And we used to do a different festival in New Jersey for the Mexican independence, but we've decided to incorporate and really reach out into the Latin community because we feel it's a great fit. Bob Marley is huge in Mexico, Latin America, and all over the world. So we've brought on Alica Quinto Sol, but also here locally, we have one of the local bands, Banda Unión, and our folkloric, Mexican folkloric ballet dancers, the Aztec dancers, local groups that'll be on our stage really showing culture, life, and the mixture. We have our African drummers. So it's going to be a really great place to really incorporate, learn new things, go to the Peace Pavilion, go to the Healing Garden, go to our vendors alley, have some delicious food. Our food court is another thing that we spent a lot of time on, hand selecting our vendors so that we have a much more diverse food court. So it's going to be a great experience for all those who come. We've been able to keep the price low so that everybody can attend, with the great support of the City of Wilmington and other great sponsors, Newcastle County, ShopRite, and a host of other people that are, lending their support in ways that enables us to see our sustainability for to see the 50th golden anniversary.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
it's really coming together beautifully. It wouldn't happen without community. Our volunteers are from all over Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and some even from DC, who are committed and come to the festival giving 150% of their time. It takes over 65, 70 people to show up on that day in the morning and go to work for the next 12 hours.
Right, absolutely. What do you want the local people, the community, to know that maybe they did not know if they've never been to the People's Festival? I can't even imagine that, but if they haven't, what would you like them to know?
The People's Festival is a grassroots event, meaning that we work hard and diligently to raise every dollar that it takes to produce this event. Every dollar raised, every dollar donated goes to the direct production of this festival. We did not become millionaires doing this event, honestly. That's what a lot of people think.
Or doing anything else.
Or doing anything else yet. But at any rate, it is a grassroots event. Every contribution helps. The fact that we go to our vendors here in Wilmington, our eateries, and say, hey, we're doing this, would you like to? And we get yes, 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 so many of the time from our local merchants, our volunteers, the artists, the local artists. They're glad to perform and pay tribute to Bob on our stage. So it really is a community effort. We want you, the community here in Wilmington, to go online, purchase a ticket, come visit us, come support us, and see what a great investment that will be for yourself and your family. Bring the children. Children under 10 are free. We have a fabulous children's village that keeps them active all day, learning, creating, making instruments, and doing other things. So bring the family. It's a little bit of an investment. You can get tickets for actually $22.50, which is nothing. This concert is of a magnitude that you would give $65, $70 to attend. Our $25 advance fee is very affordable. We also have a way that you can get another 10% discount just by message us on Facebook, and we'll give you a code that you can use to save another 10%. So for $22.50, you can come, bring the children, enjoy a fabulous day, and I guarantee you, you will want to come back every year because it is that kind of an event. It's fabulous, but you learn and you can do some activities at the festival. This year, because it's such an important year for elections, we'll have some of our candidates represented in our program book, and we will have voter registration so that people can make an educated decision. We can't endorse anybody, of course, but we do want you to know that it's important to vote. So to make an educated decision, we've asked some of our candidates to put a little bit of themselves in our program book, and some have. So you'll be able to pick up literature as you register to vote. It's a great day to have fun in the sun for the whole family. But trust me, you're going to go away a lot better than you came.
Absolutely. Appropriately named the People's Festival.
People's
it's
Festival.
Just so much with different culture and education. It's
and
awesome.
every single ticket that's sold is really what's been helping us for the past 21 years and what's going to help us to continue to be able to make this event happen. All of our sponsors and every single person that comes out and supports.
Absolutely. Do you guys still need volunteers or people to help?
We always accept volunteers. We have applications. If you go on Facebook, you can contact us and we'll send you an application. There are specific areas that we are looking for people for, but in general, we never say no. We always at least have that first communication and then see if there's a good fit there.
Okay. Now just tell us again about just the basics, the time, the place.
People's Festival, tribute to Bob Marley, July 30th from noon to 10 p.m. at the Tubman, Garrett, Riverfront Park. www.peoplesfestival.com for your tickets. Get them early so you can save a little money, but if not, $30 isn't that bad. You can get them at the gate. So, but anyway, just come July 30th, noon to 10. Don't be late. You do not want to miss a single thing at the festival because we start at 12. When the clock strikes 12, you don't want to miss the presentation on the stage. We've got something really special for you.
Gotcha. 12 o'clock.
12
on the
o'clock.
Nose, not 12:05.
Not 12:05. You will miss it. But come early, and really, you plan to stay late because you're going to love every moment of it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys both for joining us. I'm excited about the People's Festival.
Yes.
Thanks for having us. I hope everybody else is too. I'd like to see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of WITN Channel 22, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.